शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। So welcome to this second session on our as part of our journey of self-discovery when we are talking about learning self-control. Yesterday, interestingly, we had some discussions, and so I'll just show you what we did yesterday, and then today, actually, I'm going to do it a little differently, and sure you can appreciate it a lot. Can you see the PPT? Let me know if you're able to. Screen sharing has failed to start the window. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. The recording is not on. So yesterday, if you remember, one of the things that we were focusing on was he who has a strong enough why can bear almost anyhow. And we are talking about when we are talking about self-control, one of the biggest motivation required is a strong enough why I want to do, why self-control is important. If that why is not strong, if that why is weak, then every single how will become a problem. Every single doubt, every single challenge, every single problem will appear really big. So continuing on that same note, yesterday I had spoken about a verse from Bhagavad Gita, if you remember, that is actually it's a beautiful verse from Bhagavad Gita. And today I just want you not to get distracted into so many things and just pay attention to something very powerful, very, very subtle. That if we get it in this session, then I'm sure it will help you a lot in practicing self-control in your life, not just in your professional, personal, spiritual life, overall in the entire gamut of things in life that you want to achieve. So yesterday we had spoken about a verse from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and the verse was from 5th chapter, 22nd verse, right? And I had given a homework for all of you. I don't know how many of you could do. I'll come to that in a while. Today I want to show something very special for 20 minutes. So you have to be really attentive. I know when we are in Zoom, it's a natural tendency to do multitasking, do something else. But when that thing will come, I'll tell you, and be very, very, very attentive. But to reach to that stage, we need to understand what is that. So yesterday we had this wonderful discussion on this verse from Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, 22nd verse, which says, Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaye evate adi antavantah kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. This verse in Bhagavad Gita is a clue as to why people in this material world are not feeling that satisfaction, why they feel the void, why they feel that there is something lacking in their life. And very, these are words spoken by the Supreme Lord himself. So he's telling, Yehi samsparshaja bhoga. Those of you who were not there yesterday, samsparsha is touch. So the connection or the samsparsha of the senses and the sense objects, momentarily it appears bhoga. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga, dukkha yona ye evate. But dukkha yoni, actually this is the cause of misery. Adi antavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Buddha is an intelligent man. He does not dwell in this kind of happiness. But the whole material world is driven by how we can indulge, how we can do something where we can get some happiness. I want to give two examples of this today. During Prasadam time, one devotee was mentioning about a verse, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasovarjyam rasopyasya param drushtva nivartate. So he was telling we can go on indulging in our senses till the time we get higher rasa, because that's what the verse is saying, that once you get the higher rasa, you can automatically give up the lower rasa. So I was just thinking about that statement, and today is a very auspicious day. It's an Ekadashi. Usually people fast. Today I was honoring Prasadam, and I was taking some potato chips made by Badrinaran Prabhu, and I was relishing that. Then I was thinking to myself, whatever maybe your age, 30 years, 40 years, whatever the age, that many number of years we've been eating potatoes. We've been eating oil, we've been eating all these things. But is the tongue really satisfied with this? Maybe quintals, tons of potatoes we would have consumed. Not just potatoes, for that matter, any tasty food. Still, every day the tongue is looking for some new rasa, some new enjoyment. It is not satisfied. Same holds true for our eyes. Look at the children, or nowadays, even not exactly children, any young adult, how hooked he is to mobile, how much he is addicted to seeing something on the phone. Even a small child, toddler, going to school, doesn't matter. Even adults, for that matter, so much hooked. Don't want to blink even eyes. Oh, something is coming. And it is not just one day, 1 hour or something. It is a continuous thing. Yet the eyes are not satisfied. Ears, it wants to hear something very pleasing. I was talking to another colleague of mine after a long time today from Infosys, and she was mentioning that she had gone for hiking, right? And why we do this? Because we are looking for some new rasa. We are looking some new experience which can give us that satisfaction, which can give us that pleasure, which can give us that thrill, that joy in life. Today is 24th of January, okay, and so that means 24 days of the new year has passed. We had a new year class, new year, new me. We had some resolutions, and now 24 days have passed. Some of you may be remembering, some of you might be aware of it. Some of you would have thought, enough, it's 24 days now. Let's continue with our life. But interestingly, Prabhupada says, for a devotee, every single day is a new year. We don't wait for one end of year to come and then we will experience some new year. No, every single day is a new year, because what we experience, it's a new life. It is not the old life. Actually, people outside material world, they're looking for some newness. They're looking for newness in this activity, in that activity, in so many activities. But what they don't realize, dukkha yonaye evate, these are all causes of miseries. In another verse in Bhagavad Gita, 8th chapter, Krishna says, Mam upetya tu kaunteya dukkhalayam asaswatam natnuvanti mahatmanah. Mam upetya tu kaunteya dukkhalayam asaswatam. This place is dukkhalayam, the place of miseries. Dukkha yonaye evate. The happiness that is looking, that exactly is what the definition of Maya is. It gives us this strong conviction, strong belief. New mobile has come, new gadget has come. what is that? iPhone 12 or 13? What is 12? iPhone 12 is there. I already have an iPhone. But the moment that new thing has come and it is projected in a manner that, well, this is going to change the whole world, I look for it, I hanker for it, I go for it. Nobody says, well, can I go for iPhone 3, iPhone 6, iPhone 4, I don't know, whatever the lowest. Nobody wants. But the purpose of this iPhone is the same. We want to speak to someone, but there are additional features which are given, and we are looking for happiness in this matter, deeply convinced by the propaganda that there is happiness. Go for it. And we go for it. What we don't realize is, dukkha yona evate, these are all causes of miseries. Somebody may say, how can you say that? Well, you may say that in my life, there is misery. I am experiencing some kind of difficulties or problems, but I see somebody else who's got a bigger house, big car, he's a CEO, it's a lot of money. Where is the question of misery there? And he's enjoying. There are photographs in Facebook and Instagram which says about how he's having a vacation somewhere else and he's enjoying life. How can we say that that person is having misery? Well, just go and see the body which he is having, which is full of miseries. Dukkha yonaya evate. Doesn't matter how comfortably he is living. This body itself is source of miseries. If not this body, then there is mind. It is such a painful state. Any amount of material comfort cannot take away, cannot allay these miseries. If really one wants to experience some rasa, which is new, ever fresh, he has to experience spiritual life. There is a very beautiful verse in Bhagavatam, which says this verse, Navyavat. Anybody knows that verse? One second. Give me just 1 minute. I'll just get that verse. That verse actually means for a devotee, every single day is a bright new day because he's experiencing new rasa. That verse, give me just 1 second. Search for it. Navyavat dridhe yajño भ्रमति तद भ्रमबादिभिः न मुह्यन्ति न सोचन्ति न हृष्यन्ति यतो गतः. Always engaging in the activities of devotional service, devotees feel ever increasingly fresh and new in all their activities. The deities are same for us, but every day when we are having the darshan, they are different. They are new. We sing the same song, same Mangalarti, same Kirtan, same Hare Krishna Kirtan, same Hare Krishna Japa. But every day when we do, there is a newness in it. Because the Lord reciprocates every day in a new way. And when the devotee is filled with that rasa within, he is experiencing that bliss, which is not available in material world. Navyavat dridhe yajño brahmati tad brahmabadivihi na muhyanti na sochanti na hrishyanti yato gataha. So that happiness is something which we can experience in our life, but we are looking for happiness in this material world, and it is mentioned dukkha yonaya evate. But you say, no, there is still happiness. Yes, there is happiness. Adi antavanta konteya. There is a beginning and an end. And it is so paltry. It is like a person who is so thirsty, so tired and exhausted in a desert. Somebody comes and gives him a drop of water. Enjoy for the rest of your life. It cannot quench. It cannot satisfy the thirst. So that is, if that is the case, if there is no happiness and there is happiness in this, why we are not able to do? Why are we not able to engage in this kind of service? Because we lack that faith. We don't have that faith inside us to follow this. Our acharyas say, Nam Nam Akari Bahudha Nijasarva Saktis. Nam Nam Akari Bahudha. Actually, the holy name of the Lord is so blissful, and the Lord has invested all his potencies in that. If we just chant Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadhavagni Nirbapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidya Badhu Jivanam Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamrita swadanam. Anandam buddhi, that is an ever increasing bliss of nectar which we can experience. But unfortunately, at that point in time, we feel sleepy. Our mind goes away. And we are not able to experience that nectar. We lack that conviction. We don't have that faith. When Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayisami ma sucha, we have doubts within. We don't have doubts when somebody says, come, let's go and party. Let's go to this new place and enjoy in that. We don't question that. But when it comes to having this, that is exactly the difference between, actually the scriptures talk about Lokik Shraddha and that is a Sastric Shraddha. Lokik Shraddha means, oh, my life, you know what, let me just go and do some Krishna consciousness. Let me do some Krishna bhajan. Let me go and participate in some of these activities. After all, it is good. Some pious activities, some religious activities I should do. That will give me some peace of mind. I come. And when something goes wrong in my life, little upset, promotion is getting withheld. The house that I'm looking for, I didn't get it. My faith is shaken. No faith. That is called Lokik Shraddha. Just because I saw somebody else is doing, somebody else is practicing and he's getting some respects, he's getting some this thing. Let me also go and try it out. We need Sastric Shraddha. And Sastric Shraddha, if you're looking for a definition of that, very beautifully actually Prabhupada quotes this in the 2nd chapter, 41st verse purport, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Rekeha Kurunandana. In that verse, Prabhupada says, the definition of faith from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Shraddha Sabde Viswasa Kahe Sudrudha Nishchay. Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Kritta. Shraddha Sabde Viswasa Kahe Sudrudha Nishchay. If I just engage in devotional service, even if I'm not able to do something, even if Krishna is putting me in some difficult situations, Sarva Karma Kritta Hai, this is the ultimate perfection. I can achieve that ultimate perfection by engaging in devotional service. Otherwise, lifetime after lifetime, we've been searching for this happiness in this material world in different ways and different means. We've been trying this and we're miserable. It's such a pitiable situation. We feel that pain, we feel that misery, we feel that incessant hankering within. We are not satisfied, not in our mind, not in our activities, yet we don't take up to this very seriously. And one of the reasons, as I said, is because we lack the faith. And unfortunately, there are so many people who talk about it, unless that person himself carries that faith within, that Sastric Shraddha, the doubts in people's mind will not go. So one has to have that conviction. This is the process. This is how we can experience. The reason why we are not able to experience and why we are struggling in this material world, there are two very interesting verses. One is from Bhagavatam. This verse is in the 1st canto, 7th chapter, 5th verse, 175. And the verse is Yaya Sammohita Jiva Atmanam Trigunatmakam Paropi Manute Nartham Tat Kritam Chabhipadyate. Yaya Sammohito Jiva. The Jiva, living entity, is so bewildered, so illusioned. Mohita is to become completely, stuck. Mohita, Sammohita. Yaya Sammohita Jiva Atmanam Trigunatmakam Paropi Manute Nartham Tat Kritam Chabhipadyate. Because of this bewilderment, because of this illusion, what is the illusion? Because this modes of material nature which are acting on us, making us believe strongly, not just strongly, it is making us believe that I am a material product, I am this body. I identify myself with this body. I'm a man. I'm a Telugu person. I'm a Oriya person. I'm a Tamil person. I'm an Indian, I'm an American. We've got nothing to do. Some people go to the extent of telling even in my body, Indian blood is running, American blood is running. Deep-rooted identification that I'm this body. And thus, what happens because of that? Undergoes the reactions of material miseries. Paropi manutenartham tat kritam chabhipadyate. Goes through the reactions of this material body. Lifetime after lifetime. and never satisfied. Yet we are looking for that. Unfortunately, like when we buy a TV or a product which is fragile, usually the box will have an arrow mark saying that this side up. That means we know that we have to hold from the bottom, the arrow, the direction in which it is pointing, in that direction we have to carry. In material world, there is no such indication which is there that this is right thing to do and this is not the right thing to do. We don't have that. So whatever comes to my mind, I do it. Whatever I feel like, I do it. And that exactly is the problem. I think I'm feeling like and I'm doing it, but actually I'm being influenced by these modes of material nature which are acting on me, and they are helplessly dictating to work in this way. And Prabhupada very brilliantly, he says this verse yesterday I heard, and this verse is Tada rajas tamo bhava kama lobha dayaschaye cheta ete rana vidham stitam sattve prasidati. 1.2.19 Bhagavatam. Tada rajas tamo bhava. This mood of passion and ignorance which act on the living entities, it produces kama and lobha, desire for enjoying opposite sex desires, and lobha, greed inside. Adayas, kama, lobha, adayas means etc., other things. Any material thing that we do when we are going for, let's say I want to get married, let's say I want to have a beautiful house, let's say I want to have a big job, behind that person who's going and trying to do that, there are other material afflictions like greed, anger, lust. They're all hidden. They are dictating us, and we are going for it. Tada rajas tamo bhava kama lobha dayaschaye cheta eter anabidham stitam sattve prasidati. Because we are not able to come to this mode of goodness. We are helplessly acting in the dictation of this lower modes, passion and ignorance, that we are looking for happiness in material world in different ways, incessant desires, anger, greed, and we are victims of this. We are slaves of this, and we are doing, and those actions are producing reactions. Prabhupada says these are hrad roga, cheta eter anabidham. Cheta is hrad, inside out. These are heart disease. This lobha. Do you think it's easy to get rid of this lobha and kama? These are the gateways to hell. Even a person, Prabhupada, gives the example of Akbar and his minister Birbal going to that old man who was looking at Akbar's daughter, young daughter, that man who was about to die. Still, he has got those desires to enjoy. Not easy. Kama lobha dayas chaye. Had it been so easy, one hearing, we would have been able to, liberate ourselves, free ourselves. We keep coming back. They are very, very strong. Kama lobha dayas chaye cheta ete ranabidham. Cheta, the heart is afflicted with this rogas. And that is why cheto darpanamarjanam. That connection is cheto darpanamarjanam. When we chant the names of the Lord, it cleanses this disease. It purifies our heart. It makes us come to our natural state where we can experience that new rasa, the new happiness. Actually, the whole scriptures are telling us to come to a state where we can experience that higher taste, that rasa. The whole thing is that. Right now, we know that, okay, Krishna, some Rama, something, okay, I have some problems, I go and tell in front of the Lord. I have some desires, I express it in front of the Lord. That also many people don't do, but that's where we are limited ourselves to. But actually, there is a relationship, a personal relationship with the Lord, each one of us, and there is an exchange of rasa. And only when one engages in devotional service can experience this newer and newer rasa. If somebody says that I'm in devotional life, I'm practicing devotion, yet I'm depressed, my mind is having a lot of problems, anxieties, it cannot be. There's something somewhere wrong. Or the person is not going deeper into see what exactly the Lord can do, how he can reciprocate in our lives. If we are not able to get that, actually it is possible to get it in association of devotees. Sometimes the devotional life itself can become dry, but when we discuss these topics, when we talk the wonderful transcendental activities of the Lord and his devotees, that rasa actually enlivens us. Bodhayantah parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. That verse in Bhagavad Gita which talks about that. Kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti. That rasa, once one gets, once one experiences that rasa, he will no more hanker for any material things. So that is why the association of devotees is very, very, very important to come out of this illusion, to experience that higher rasa. See, like sometimes Prabhupada gives this example. This is one of the conversations where he's telling, imagine when you're taking milk, milk has actually curd, ghee, and cheese in it, right? But when we are taking milk, we don't get the taste of curd. We don't get the taste of ghee, though it is there. When we churn that, we can get ghee. So that process of churning, we know some definition, we know some understanding of Krishna, but really that rasa, how do I get that rasa? All the devotees, if you see their prayers, Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, or Parikshit Maharaj, even before starting the Bhagavatam, he's praying to Sukadev Goswami. One constant thing in their prayers is, I want the association of devotees. Doesn't matter where I'm taking birth, in what situation, let me be there in association of devotees. Maharaj, in his prayers, very interesting prayer, he says, Bhakti muhu prabhratam tvai me prasango bhuyad ananta mahatam amala sayanam. Bhakti muhu pravahtam tvai me prasango. Muhu pravahtam. I want to be in association of devotees in whose hearts this bhakti is flowing constantly. Bhakti muhu pravahtam. It is flowing. Tvai me prasango. Bhuyad ananta mahatam amala sayanam. I just want that association of devotees where this Harikatha is going on, where I can experience that rasa. Raso vai saha. Krishna is actually the the reservoir of all the sweet mellows. And that is also exemplified when Uddhava goes to Vrindavan, and Krishna has already left Vrindavan, and Uddhav is sent by Krishna to console the gopis. And Uddhav, being a Brahmana, he's doing Gayatri. We're supposed to do Gayatri in Trisandhya, and he's doing Gayatri. He's in the river Yamuna and doing Gayatri. At that time, he's hearing this wonderful, not just wonderful, the heartfelt cries of the gopis. So much of separation from Krishna, and he's not able to come out. Just hearing those cries and those, the feelings of separation. What is the last verse of Sikshastakam? No, that separation. No, last. Not the last one. Ashram. That second one. Pulakir Bakuni. So the Sikshastakam Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling, when will that day come when I chant the names of the Lord, there will be torrents of tears flowing from my eyes. The hairs on my body it will stand on its end. No. Seventh one. Yugaitam nimeshena chakshusava prasaitam itam jagat sarvam govinda virahainam. Sunyaitam jagat sarvam. This world is empty, void. Govinda virahainam. Actually, we all are eternally part and parcel of the Lord. But because of being influenced by these modes of material nature, especially the lower modes of material nature, we are struggling in this material world. We are looking for happiness in this material world in different ways and means. So what is the solution? There is a solution which is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita, very beautiful verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It says, Maya mugdha jivera nahi swata Krishna gyan, jivera kripaya koila Krishna Veda Puran. Maya mugdha. Mugdha means who's bewildered, who's conditioned, who's enchanted by this illusory energy. Maya mugdha jiver nahi swata Krishna gyan. Naturally, it doesn't come. Actually, in one place, it is mentioned, when we are all born, we didn't have all these contaminations. It is with this, as we grow up, we associate with different people. Then we have different people whom we consider as our role models. We see their habits. We see that they're also, going for a fag or booze or doing some things. Slowly that desire develops. Oh, that boy in my class, he's so tall and handsome, and he's using a nice mobile, and he's using that mobile all the times during the class. Let me also try to do. Or he's smoking. Let me also try to do. So this association gives us this kind of desires, and these desires drag us away. It makes us conditioned, makes us impure, not just in this lifetime after lifetime. That is why it is mentioned, Maya Mugdha Jiver Nahi Swata Krishna Gyan. Naturally, we don't have the knowledge about Krishna. Jivera Kripaya Koila Krishna Veda Puran. Jivera Kripaya. Out of compassion on this conditioned living entities who are struggling in this material world, Koila Krishna Veda Puran, that this Veda Puranas are revealed by the Lord out of his causeless mercy. He has revealed this Vedic knowledge is available for us to follow, to see, and to come out of it. And in the next verse of this same, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned, Sastra Guru Atma Rupe Apanare Janana Krishna Moro Prabhu Trata Jivera Hoy Gyan. Three things are mentioned. Yesterday, Sheetalji was mentioning about Guru, but here it is mentioned Sastra Guru Atma. Sastra Guru Atma Rupe Apanare Janana Krishna Moro Prabhu Trata Jivera Hoy Jnana. The forgetful conditioned soul is educated by Krishna through the Vedic literatures, Shastra, the realized spiritual master, and the super soul. Three things. Atma is referring to super soul here. So Shastra, Guru Atma. Shastra, the Vedic literatures, that's why I started with Shastrik Shraddha, not Lokik Shraddha. Lokik Shraddha means I'm seeing that something good is happening to someone who's taking up to this process, let me also do. Or somebody is there, outside world is so dangerous, so difficult, let me go and become a brahmachari so that nothing, no difficulties. These are all Lokik Shraddha. And little disturbance happens, then that person is gone. He's thinking something else. Because he's not experiencing that higher rasa, he's not firmly fixed, convinced in that Shastrik Shraddha. Doesn't matter, Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Kritta Hai. If I just do this, doesn't matter if I'm not able to do my other duties. I'm being negligent to my children, my wife, my husband, my parents, doesn't matter. If I'm engaged in Krishna Bhakti, Sarva Karma Kritta Hai. That conviction is not there. So the first thing is Shastra. These are the Vedic literatures are called revealed Vedic literatures. They reveal the secret. They tell us what is the problem and how we can come out. Shastra, Guru Atma, and Guru spiritual master's words. Actually, this is one of the clue, one of the trick. Not just hearing passively, hearing the words of the spiritual master can cut all the illusions, all kinds of illusions, because those words have those potency. When we associate with the words of a guru and have firm faith in his words, that only can cut this illusion. Shastra, Guru, Atma, and the super soul who seated in our heart. Today morning we were hearing the Bhagavatam class. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam yenamam upayantite. Tesham satata yuktanam, who's engaged in devotional service, satatam, continuously, bhajatam, priti purvakam, and with love, dadami buddhi yogam tam. I give that intelligence from within to come out of this illusion. Shastra Guru Atma Rupe Apanare Janana Krishna Mora Prabhuta Trata Jivera Hoy Jnana. So the forgetful conditioned soul is educated by Krishna through the Vedic literatures, the realized spiritual master and the super soul. Through this, he can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead as he is, and he can understand that Lord Krishna is his eternal master and deliverer from the clutches of Maya. In this way, one can acquire real knowledge of his conditioned life and can come to understand how to attain liberation. Now, I've been telling you that I'm going to share something which in my limited understanding is one of the most powerful video that you can ever see. So if you are doing, again, this is another reminder I'm telling you, if you are doing anything else, don't do. The video is about 20 minutes. I want you to hear this very, very attentively. The video is available in different formats in YouTube. If you search for Srila Prabhupada's conversation with a professor by name John Mize in Los Angeles, it's 1975 or 74. If you search in YouTube, you'll find, but you'll not find a complete video of that. So there are different versions which are available. I've got one version of it. I thought that's probably the longest that I could find. And the speaker is giving a little bit of backdrop about this video. So mind you, this is a professor, an American professor, John Mize, who's visiting Prabhupada for the first time. And Prabhupada is having a conversation, and that conversation is so powerful. If you just hear this conversation, as I said, don't get distracted and hear this. If you hear this conversation, we will have a discussion based on this. That conversation, there lies the clue of leading a life of self-control. Or why, what, how, everything is answered. And as I said, the words of the spiritual master can cut all the illusions. When we think, when we hear, I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul, I've got 1,000 doubts. I'm spirit, what spirit soul? Oh, there is life after death? Well, I don't care. I'll go on doing something which I feel like, whatever I feel right. I don't get that. So hear this very, very attentively. 20 minutes, and then we will have a discussion.
To it. So my husband filmed 16mm films of Srila Prabhupada, and I wanted to show now one very unique film of Srila Prabhupada when he's conversing with a professor named Dr. Mize, professor of psychology. This was in Los Angeles, and just to give a little understanding of what this filmmaking involved, because now it's historic. But at that time, 16mm camera and 16mm film was very expensive. For 12 minutes, it would cost $75, which was a lot of money at that time in the 70s. This is for 12 minutes. And then after 12 minutes, my husband would have to go into another room, get a black bag, and change the film, take out the exposed film, put it into a light, tight container, put in a new film, put it on, come back and continue filming. So this is, when you see this conversation with Dr. Mize, it's not the full conversation because every 12 minutes this procedure would have to happen. So it's spliced together. But I must say that he did a genius job of splicing this conversation together. And it's about 22 minutes. So my appeal to each and every one of you is that many times when we have these programs online, we multitask. I do it myself. I am as guilty as anyone. I clean, I do this or that, I listen, but I'm half there. But I humbly request each and every one of you, please just sit and focus on this amazing conversation between Srila Prabhupada and Dr. Mize. And then, according to how much time we have afterwards, we can express what hearing and seeing Srila Prabhupada speak in this way. So first, I hope I can forward this thing. First, Prabhupada is chanting in his room, and then after that, we'll hear the conversation too.
as part and parcel of God, it is the duty of the soul to be always engaged in the service of the Lord.
Always engaged in
The service of the Lord.
service of
Just like this finger is part and parcel of my body. Whatever I am ordering, it is immediately carrying out. I say, make it like this, it will do. So, but this is dead matter. It is acting mechanically. The brain directs immediately the finger and attack like machine. This whole body is just like machine. But soul is not machine, mechanical part. It is spiritual part. So therefore, as I am directing the finger, as being machine it is working. But if somebody else, a friend or servant, I may direct him to do something, he may not do it. So when the soul misuses the independence, then he falls down. That is material life. Material life means misusing the independence of soul. A son's duty is to obey the father, but he may not obey. That is his madness. So when this soul, misusing the independence, becomes mad, he is sent in this material world.
It's puzzling to me that one would be so foolish.
Because by independence you can become foolish. Otherwise there is no meaning of independence. Independence means you can do whatever you like. That is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, that Jathechasi tatha kuru. Find out this verse in the 18th chapter. That independence is there. After instructing the whole Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, Krishna gave him the independence. Now, whatever you like, you can do. Krishna never forced him to accept the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. He gave him the independence. Now, whatever you like, you can do. And he agreed. Yes, now my illusion is over, I shall act, as you say. The same independence, yes?
Yeah. This is in the 18th chapter.
He says with it.
Yeah.
Yatite jnanam akyatam guya guyataram maya virishyaetar asheshena yate chasi tatha kuru. Thus I have explained to you the most confidential of all knowledge. Deliberate on this fully and then do what you wish to do.
Yeah. Now, if you say, why this soul should become so foolish? So that is misuse of independence. An intelligent father has got intelligent son, but sometimes he becomes a fool. So, what is the reason? That he is this part and parcel of the father. He should have become exactly like the father, but he does not become like the father. I have seen in Allahabad, as a big lawyer, barrister, Mr. Banerjee, his eldest son was also a barrister, and his youngest son, on account of bad association, he became a kawala. A kala means in India, there is a carriage drawn by one horse. So, he likes to be in a car. That means he fell in love with a low-class woman, and by her association, he became a car. There are many instances. The Ajamil, he was a Brahmin, and then he fell down very low. So this misuse of independence is always there. The material world generally, they are under this base quality, means always filled up with lusty desires and not satisfied, greedy. So when we conquer over these base qualities, then we become happy. Tadarajastamo bhava kama lobha dayastaji cheta iti anavidyam. When the consciousness is not influenced by these base qualities, cheta iti sthita sati prasidati. Being situated on the platform of Satagun, he feels happy. That is the beginning of spiritual life. When so long the mind is disturbed by lusty desires and greediness, there is no question of spiritual life. Therefore, the first business is how to control the mind so that it may not be influenced by the base quality, lusty desires and greediness. We have seen in Paris, old man, 75 years old, is going to the nightclub because the lusty desire is there. He pays $50 for entering the club, and then he pays further for other things. So even he is 75 years old, the lusty desire is there.
Did all the souls that were in the spiritual sky fall out of the spiritual sky at once or at different times, or are there any souls that are always good, they're not foolish? They don't
No, there are majority, 90%, they're always good. They never fall down.
So we're among the 10%.
Yeah. Or less than that. So the material, whole material world, all the living entities, they're just like in the prison house. There are some population, but they are not majority. The majority of the population, they are outside the prison. Similarly, majority of living beings, part and parcel of God, they are in this world. Only a few falls down.
Does Krishna know ahead of time that a soul is going to be foolish and fall?
It is
Are more souls falling all the time?
not all the time, but there is the tendency of fall down. Not for all, but because there is independence, everyone is not liking to misuse the independence. The same example, just like a government constructing a city and constructs also prison house. Because the government knows that somebody will be criminal. So that center must be also constructed. It is very easy to understand. Not that 10% population will be criminal. But government knows that some of them will be. Otherwise, why they construct prison house also? One may say, where is the criminal you are constructing? The government knows, no, there will be criminal. So if the ordinary government can know, why go? Because there is tendency.
The origin of that tendency is?
Yes.
From where does that tendency?
Tendency means the independence. So, everyone can know that independence means one can use it properly, one can misuse it. That is independence. If you make it one way only, that is not independence. That is force. Therefore, Krishna says, Yatechasi tatha kuru. Now you do whatever you like.
How the mind comes to know that there is a soul?
By taking lesson from professors who has mind clear. Why the students are coming to you? Because his mind is not clear. You have to clear his mind by teaching him psychology, feeling, thinking, feeling, willing. Therefore he has to come to a learned man who knows how to understand mind, how to understand the activities of the mind, how to deal with that requires education. A dog cannot take this education, but a human being can take. Therefore, it is the duty of the human being how to control the mind, not act like cats and dogs. That is human being. You should be inquisitive. Why this happening? Why this happening? And you should take education. That is human life. And if he does not inquire, if he does not take education, then what is the difference between him and the dog? He remains a dog. He has got this opportunity of human life. He should take advantage of understanding what is what. Not to keep himself in the dog status, simply eating, sleeping, sex life and defending. That is the distinction between dog and human being. If he does not become inquisitive, how to control the mind? He is not even a human being. And dog never inquires. The dog knows that when I bark, people become disturbed. He never asks how to control this barking habit. Because he is dog. He cannot do that. A human being can do that. People hate me. I do something wrong. How to control my mind? That is human being. That is the difference between human being and dog. Therefore, Vedic injunction is, go and inquire. You have got this human form of life. Tathata Brahma Jigyasa. Now this is the time for inquiring about the soul. Tad vijnanartham sa gurumeva avigachet. If you want to understand this science, then go to proper guru and take lessons from him. The same thing as we instruct our children. If you want to be educated in the higher status, go to school, go to college, take lessons. That is human society. The dog's father will never ask the dog, child, go to school. No, they're dogs.
The universities nowadays don't teach any courses in the nature of the soul.
Therefore he says, what is wrong if I become a dog? Because there is no education. He does not know the difference between dog and the human being. Therefore he says, what is wrong if I become a dog? I'll get more facility for sex without any criminal charges. This is the advancement of education. So we are giving importance to the machine, not to the person who is dealing with the machine. This is the folly of modern civilization. We are thinking like child, the machine is working independently. But that's not the fact. The big ARC 747 is flying because the pilot is there. And the pilot is a soul, powered by another bodily machine. That is missing point in modern civilization. So who is working with the machine? That they do not know. That is ignorance. It is said, you see Bhagavad Gita, Ishvara sarvabhutanam riddeshe arjuna tishtati Brahman sarvabhutani jantra rudhani maya. Jantra means machine. The modern education is missing the pilot. They are simply wandering with the machine. And actually they are finding that a big, nice machine, computer, without an operator it does not work. And this huge machine is working without any spiritual touch. Just see how foolishness. They think automatically working. Nature is working automatically. Do they not think?
They think there's a mind, but not a soul.
That's all right. Something is there which is working. Now that may be mistake. We call it soul and mind. That is next understanding. But the machine is not working independently. That should be understood first. Then how the machine is working, that is the next chapter. So they have no understanding even how the machine is working. Mura nabhijanati mamebha paramabhyam maya dakshena prakriti siyate sacharaja. That they do not know, Muras. If you do not know how the machine is working, then what is the value of your education? Education means enlightenment. You do not know what is the final cause. A huge body is working as nature. So many planets, so many big planets like sun, moon, they are floating in the air. Who has made this arrangement? There we see every day. And everyone is speculating. It is being done like this. Another philosopher comes, he does, it is like this. Another says, it is like this. Naso nijjasya matang na bhinnam. A philosopher is not a great philosopher if he defies the other philosopher. He said, no. So this process is going on. I defy you, you defy me, that's all. But what is the real fact? Neither you know, neither I know. But we write big articles. That is going on. I was also a student of philosophy. My professors are all Europeans. So one professor, Dr. W.S. Arkuhat, he was our professor for psychology, metaphysics. Later on he became the Vice Chancellor of Calcutta University. A very nice gentleman.
Dr. Mais, he's chanting Hare Krishna a little in the shower now. When he takes a shower, he chants a little now.
One press reporter in the Berkeley University in the beginning, he wrote his article and he read that after hearing this Hare Krishna for a few minutes, I came home chanting all the road Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. We are living beings, we are conscious, we cannot give up anything, but we are being trained up how to utilize everything for Krishna. That is Krishna. So giving some prasad.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to hear your thoughts, anything that, what did you like about this video? What is striking things? If you're trying, I don't know, I mean, most of you are on mute. Anybody is trying to speak?
I've heard Hare Krishna Prabhu. Am I audible?
Yeah.
So this all these small bits of heard of Prabhupada's these examples of he gives of the finger which acts as part of the whole body and serves the body. These kind of examples. But it was very nice to see this whole thing together in one media. I'd never seen this before. The little snippets together.
True. I mean, to see Prabhupada, there are very few videos, and we hear his audios, but to see him and to see him with that conviction, it's just amazing. Okay. Anything else?
Very nice video, Prabhu. And also Prabhupada highlights that because of our independence, we are here, because we are separated from the Lord. That is the that is our choice, and this is like a prison house. And yeah, and also compares with the dog. Dog can't control the mind; it keeps barking. But as a human being, we should control our mind. And also, like because of the current education, it is all dog education. So there's no we don't know that what is human life, what is dog life, and unrestricted sense enjoyment. That's what we are going for.
There is another example which Prabhupada gives of the barrister in Allahabad, Mr. Banerjee, who had two sons. One became barrister and the other one became the
Ekalawala.
Right.
Also, the 75-year-old person who goes to the nightclub or whatever.
So these are all the examples of misuse of our independence, and that's the reason how we are struggling in this material world. And independence is given. That's what Prabhupada is saying. That is the whole idea of independence. A person can misuse it, can use it. and probably, I don't know how many of you felt this, but the way Prabhupada is, the conviction in explaining the difference between body and soul, it's just amazing. I mean, the way he says about that 747 and then the pilot and how yantra rudhani mayaya, we are, this is, what is that verse? Ramayan Sarva Bhutani. What was the first line? Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridya Se Arjuna Tishtati. Brahmayan Sarva Bhutani Yantra Rudhani Mayaya. So we are actually in this machine. This machine is going to fail one day. And we are stuck up in this. In this life itself, we can go back, home back to Godhead. If we properly channelize, understand that who we are actually part and parcel of the Lord. And by engaging in devotional service to Him, we can go back. And that's what exactly the whole life is. That's where the self-control is required. That's where the lower modes of nature which are acting, we don't need to get being acted, pulled by them, and use our independence properly. Because as Prabhupada is saying there, you have an independence to sit here and listen to me. I have also an independence of talking to you. You have another independence. You can go and do something else. But if we utilize it properly, knowing what it is, we can come out. Any other thoughts?
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead, Sanchita.
Okay, Prabhu. So yeah, I mean, really very motivating as always. So one point there, like what he said, the need of mind control. I mean, from his talk that if we don't control our mind, then we won't be able to do devotion, as it will be lurking in lust and greed. So that is very important. That is the reason why, like what you were saying, why is very important to know, why to control the mind. And I think this is what he said. And that's why it's a duty of all the humans to control the mind, unlike animals, because they don't have that understanding.
Yeah.
But since we have that,
yeah. What Prabhupada was mentioning, that you need to go to a guru, a person whose mind is clear, hear him. Like we go to schools and universities and hear from a professor, we want to learn some knowledge. This knowledge, Divya Gyan Hriday Prakasita, the guru can give this knowledge within our heart. We have to hear his instructions. Then only this mind will get cleared. Otherwise, lifetime after lifetime will go, we will remain in that kind of a situation. That same pitiable situation. That was a very important point. Right.
One more thing I found very interesting. He remembered the name of his psychology professor's name. I also had psychology, Prabhu. I don't remember my professor's name.
Okay. Yeah. Genius. Any other, Jitendra ji, you were saying something?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, first of all, we wanted to enjoy. So Krishna has given us the free will. Okay, go ahead and go and. So actually, they have created this world for us. Okay, go ahead and go whatever you want to do. But on top of that, Krishna has also given us the Shastra, Guru, and he came himself with us to always instruct us, so that one day we have to go back. So he always so much merciful.
True. And he's also there in our heart as Paramatma, irrespective of the fact whether we are interested in looking at him, following his instructions. He is accompanying us eternally together, but we are eternally, even though we are together, we are away from him. We are separate. The moment we turn towards him, our life changes. Anyway, so this is a very powerful video. Actually, in my opinion, one of the very powerful videos that I have seen, in the way the conversation happens, with the conviction which Prabhupada speaks to somebody who's coming for the first time, a professor, an English professor who had no idea what soul is. He's asking, what is soul? How do we understand? And how logically this is built. So The reason I said this is, if I can tell anything from the scriptures about sense control, about self-control, it will not make sense unless we hear from Guru. And so clearly Prabhupada is saying is the misuse of independence, why we are stuck in this material world, which is like a prison house. And we are suffering. This misuse of independence manifests in the form of being greed and lust and all these things. And then we are doing these material activities. Fortunately, we have a solution. We know the solution is this wonderful, powerful chanting of the Lord. Actually, if you see, Prabhupada says, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Simple, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. If we just chant, sometimes we think, first let my problem get over, this I have got this, bro, everything is fine in my life, this just one thing. Let me get married, after that I'll take it up. Let me get this job, after that I'll take it up. It will never happen, because life has always got that one big problem with us, always. If we try to solve that problem and then take up Krishna consciousness, the life will also come to an end. Whatever state we are, chant Hare Krishna and we have to practice right now. Because the holy name is not different from Krishna, and it elevates our consciousness, and that's how we can experience that higher bliss. There is no other way. So I just wanted to share this video and wanted to leave you with this thought that when we are talking about self-control, there cannot be no better and powerful tool than the instruction of our spiritual master, than chanting of the holy name of the Lord. There is nothing more superior. And there is no other place that we can find that bliss that we are looking for, except for in devotional service. Navyavat, ever fresh it is. So let that be the motivation for our going forward in this life and taking it seriously, coming and hearing, not like, okay, now again another day I have to go for a Mangalarati. How burdensome! I'll go and stand, I'll not sing. I'll do something. No, the Lord is present in front of us. If we are really present with the right consciousness, He is new every day, fresh. And we can experience new rasa in that. I just wanted to share that, we are planning to have some sessions which are, if you like this, something similar to this. These are going to be very, very powerful, and I'm sure you'll all be benefited from this. One of them is going to be a session which is called, let me just put it up. Yeah. So one of the sessions that we are having is going to share the screen. You can just take a look at it. It's going to be the overview of Bhagavad Gita in 3 hours. So it requires 3 hours. Of course, we will have some break. But sometimes, devotees ask, we know about one chapter, we don't know about the other chapters. We don't have a comprehensive overview of what Bhagavad Gita is all about, how this dialogue has progressed, how it has, what leads to another, and how did this entire 18 chapters got discussed. So look for more details. This will be not in the evening time, but it will be on a weekend in the morning time. So we will share more details, but this is certainly one thing which is coming. And as I have already shared, the theme for this year has been our journey of self-discovery. So some of you would have seen this, but if you have not seen, let me share this one more time. So as part of that, we are doing different programs and trying to share this knowledge. Join us and be part of these discussions. Share this. These are all on weekends, and make your life sublime and benefit from this. With that, we will close. Before we close, can I request all of you to come in front of your camera and raise your hands? We will chant once Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Oh, Kusha, did you join? Okay. I didn't see that at the beginning. So I was talking about my ex-colleague who went for hiking in the morning. That's Kusha, who's in the... To see you. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's chant once Hare Krishna Mahamantra and then close. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Nitai Premanande. Thank you all for joining. Hare Krishna. Good to see you, Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.